we go. Today's hike, Unicoi Gap, 14 miles. What a difference a day can make. Yesterday at this time, I was hiking through mysterious mist. Today, the sun is out, the sky is clear. It's a brisk 36 degrees, but wow, it was a little chilly when I started the walk. Once I started putting in the miles, it would warm right up. I think today's going to be a good day. Everything looks good. I feel good. I'll let you know how it goes as the day goes on. Well, it looks innocent enough, but this has been a particularly scary section of trail. I keep slipping in this mud and it keeps trying to throw me down that hill. So have to be more careful than I thought. I don't know if you can appreciate this, but the pretty steep drop off right there. I think I'm going to make sure that I maintain a good footing as I run around this ridge right here. The mountains are truly beautiful off in the distance today. Nice. Looks like we've reached Low Gap Shelter. Some water. I see a few hikers over there packing up their gear to start their day. Seen a few hikers today. It's a nice day to be out taking a walk. Alright, I'm making pretty good time today. The trail's been relatively flat for AT at least. So I'm appreciating the lack of the need to grind up super steep hillsides so far. Yesterday I was talking about a group of guys that I met on the trail, and they had all these clever trail names. It's kind of like people on the trail have this, I guess they're a little incognito, or but anyhow, there's this tradition of people having trail names. It's a name that they typically are given by someone that meets them along the trail, or someone close, or often a characteristic that people have identified in them as their mark for hiking along the Appalachian Trail or the Pacific Crest Trail, or whichever one of these long through trails that they might be hiking. But yesterday I was with a group of through hikers that were enjoying some trail magic when this guy, he had through hiked the Appalachian Trail before, and he said, "Hey, do you have a trail name?" And I said, "No, I'm just going by John right now, until something really speaks to me." And he's like, "Well, I've been watching you, man, and something just spoke to me, and I don't want to put it on you, but I think you should go by the trail name of Big John." No, I think your trail name should really be Big Bad John. He said, I don't know, so something just kind of called to me and said that should be your name. I was like, wow, that is so funny, because my dad has always called me Big Bad John, or for short, he always called me BBJ, but Big Bad John, I think that might work. It is definitely the day of great campsites. Check this out. Nice little hilltop right here. Great views for your evening. Probably watch the sunset. Got a log to pull up and have a seat on. Tiny little fire ring so you can cook your dinner and your breakfast. Pick up and move on out. Beautiful. You know, I was hiking along here and I thought I heard some voices, which, you know, in everyday life, no big deal, right? I mean, we hear voices all the time, but after walking for hours and hours out here and never hearing a sound except the wind or the trees, when you hear a voice, it really grabs your attention. So I'm always kind of alerted to what I hear or who's around. Kind of a different perspective, I think. But it's nice. Nice to hear the quiet, and nice to see somebody when you run across them and say hello. Yeah, it's just interesting how everything in the forest blends in so well, and yet we as humans stand out so much. The way we move and the way we sound, probably the way we smell, I don't know. We definitely stand out here. Even though we hikers are doing everything we can to try to fit in as well as we can and not make a huge impact. But I guess just our voices in the forest still make some noise that alerts the animals. I've been climbing pretty steadily for the last hour or so, and got to the top of this hill and saw this fantastic campsite. You know, if I got here in the evening, this would just be a perfect place to stay. But it's only just after noon, so I'm gonna head on down the trail and see what we find. Just the sun is setting. Yeah, I'm just casually walking down the trail, and then all at once, bam, there's this giant rhododendron right here. It's kind of like he's pushing the hikers over the mountainside. You got to kind of scurry past him here a little bit in this little bit of trail that he's given us. I think he wants us to know that this is his trail. Sometimes the water sources can get pretty scarce. So we get a sign. We get the blue marker telling us there's water. But that's it, folks. Right there. Little trickle coming out of there. It's pretty good. If you're really, really thirsty, you'd have to get creative about how to dam it up and get it into your filter. But, if you're thirsty enough, way along. And then I just saw another guy coming toward me, and he said, "Hey, if you're heading down to Unicoi Gap, there's some trail magic down there. So if you want to step it out a bit and get down there, you might get yourself something." Now, for those of you that don't know what trail magic is, that is very kind people in the community who will go up to a junction where through hikers are going to cross the road, and they'll set up some stoves, or they'll have a cooler out there, and they'll hand out free food. So through hikers coming through, and get yourself a Coke. Had yesterday, I got some trail magic where a guy gave me a Dr. Pepper, very tasty, thank you. And then but apparently this guy down here doing trail magic is growing up burgers and all kinds of good stuff, so you gotta love that. You just never know where it's going to be or when it's going to be, but that's why it's magic, you know. Boom, you cross the road and there's somebody just handing out tasty food. Magic. Well, we've gotten off the heavily graded part of the trail and back into something a little more rustic. It was nice while it lasted. It wasn't nearly as interesting as kind of working your way through this kind of thing here. It's been smooth going all day, and now all at once we got ourselves some rocks. Well, you don't want it to be the same for too long. Ooh. But dangerous for me. It's the end of the day when I'm getting a little tired, rolling the ankles a little too much. So better be careful. Don't want to take myself off the trail with one foolish step. Up the rocks we go. Up the rocks. Hoo-ah. Yeah. There we go. All right, that was fun. I feel like I'm going along pretty good, but I'm also finding that every day when it gets a little late in the hours and I've been hiking for 9 or 10 hours straight, that I start to trip over tougher rocks and stuff. I gotta tell myself to pick up your feet, because one of these times, if I'm not careful, I'm gonna stumble over a rock and go cascading down a little hillside here. And I'm not so sure that I could pull myself back up from all that. It's a long way down. I could be like that tree laying down there, tipped upside down, and people would walk by and look at me for ages hence and say, oh, there's an old hiker guy that toppled over a rock because he didn't pick up his feet. Yep, that's what I'm thinking right now. This is a good looking little stretch of trail right here. And I'm particularly attracted to that tree right there. Look at that guy. Just kind of hanging out. Man, he is a cool looking tree. I especially like his butt kind of sticking out right there. Actually, all these trees through here are some pretty interesting looking trees up through there. Look at that. What a cool forest. Wow. I've been winding up this mountain for a good little piece. It's been pretty steep. I think I finally reached the top. So I think I'm gonna sit down on that little log right there. Take a bit of a breather. Maybe have a little lunch. Looks like a good spot. You know, it's getting a little bit warm, and then I kind of started walking through this little tunnel of green here, and it's kind of like somebody kicked on the air conditioner. Very pleasant. Here's another nice bit of hiking through a little rhododendron forest. I've really come to appreciate these. It's kind of a rhododendron to the left, mountain laurel to the right. Each evergreens here in the Appalachian Mountains. There's not been an abundance of water on this trail today. There is a nice little flow coming off the mountainside right there though. So if you needed a drink, there's a little bit. Might have to scrape some of the mud away, but I think maybe there's a spot you can get a little bit out of there. And I'm going to go ahead and hop on across the little stream here and be on my way. I'm rolling into Unicoi Gap. Probably about maybe only a quarter of a mile down the hill, but it's going to be a rough go on the last quarter here because this is a challenging rocky patch here we're going over. So I think it's going to make me appreciate finishing today's hike. Oh, there we go. It's kind of there we are, Unicoi Gap. Going the other way, Hogpen Gap, 14 miles. That's where we started this morning. Pretty good walk today. Hiker crossing. Be careful. Try to get across this thing without getting squished.